All right, everyone. So trading options on TD Ameritrade can get a little bit confusing because, there's so many flashing lights in your face, so many different indicators everywhere. And I want to set the record straight once and for all and go through it with you on my computer because it's really something that's a huge, powerful tool that if you're not using, you could be missing out on a lot of good analysis tools. So in just a second, we're going to hop into my computer, take a look at, the best configuration to actually set up and trade options on TD Ameritrade. And then, if you have any questions, you can drop them in the comment section below. So let's get right to it. We will jump in my computer right now. So we're looking at AMD here, and I'm going to pull up the trade panel, right? So up here we have monitor, trade, analyze, scan, market watch, charts. And so the two that you're really using the most often are trade and charts. So charts is the one where, I personally trade shares in the active trader panel right here on charts. You could also trade shares in the trade panel using active trader, and you can compare side by side. However, I'm personally doing it on charts, but to do options, you're just going to make sure you're on the the trade tab, and you're going to go to all products, and these are going to open the options chains. So if there's no option chains available, right, if you don't see this drop down, that means that stock doesn't have options, and not every stock has options. There has to be a few prerequisites. So like many penny stocks don't have options. Many stocks that don't have a ton of volume don't have options. So if you're not seeing this option chain here, there probably are no options for the stock, and you should not spend a lot of time searching for those. So the next thing I want to go over, because there's a lot of information in this window right here. So you go to layout here, and you're going to see delta, gamma, theta, vega. It might be different for you for the preset, but you're going to want to click on that and make sure it's showing delta, gamma, theta, vega. So those are my personal favorite presets to have it on. You're going to want to flip-flop back and forth between that one and volume and open interest, because that's another thing that we'll go over a little bit later. That's extremely important in options trading too, that if you miss this, you could be screwed. So delta, gamma, theta, vega, these are the Greeks, and right, we just have these columns, which is showing you, and each line is a different options contract. So I'm sure for those of you who know, this is the strike price right here. So for the $45 calls, we have a theta value of negative 0.27. For Vega, we have 0.02, and then we have the bid ask right here. All right, and then same thing for the put side. We have $45 put. We have a delta value of negative 0.47, a gamma value of 0.1, theta and Vega corresponding, right? And so we work left to right in the same order that we do on the call side and the put side, right? We're not working center out, because that can get a little confusing sometimes. If you're comparing this column to this column and then this column to this column, right, you might start mixing up the Vega values with the delta values, and we don't want that because they mean two completely different things. I go over what each of these mean a little bit more in depth in another video that I do, but we want to make sure we're using the correct values there. So strike price, as I said, is right here. You can expand that. You can choose how many strike prices you actually want to look for. So if you're looking at doing calendar spreads, you can open a few different expiration dates, right? And each drop down here is an expiration date: March 30th, March 20th, March 27th. Don't get confused. The first one is the day, the last one's the year, right? They're not March 20th of 2020, March 20th of 2027. That's not obviously how options work. So keep that in mind. And then if you want to expand this more, you can just click on all, and it's going to show you literally every strike price for each option expiration date, which is not ridiculously useful, but if you wanted to see some crazy stats, then maybe sure. So I like to have mine between 10 and 14. We'll just stick to 10 for now so we can open up a few different panels. So I'm not going to buy any options right now because obviously I haven't done any analysis. But if you were to buy the option, you just click on right here. So you'd literally click right on the ask, and if you wanted to sell, you would click right on the bid. So that's going to pull up this panel here, right? And then after you get the panel, you can change your number of shares in here, and it's going to, contracts in here. You can press the up and minus buttons, and they will go in increments of 1. I know in the active trader panel for shares, they go in increments of 100, which is a little bit finicky when you get started. So, we're just confirming that we're looking to, let's see, so we're confirming that the green is a buy, and then obviously if we delete this order and go to the sell, red is going to be sell. So you're 100% clear that which side of the order you're taking. You can buy or sell to open. That's the thing about options. There is a such thing as opening an options contract by selling, and that's called selling options. Another great strategy. So once we determine what side of the order we want to take, which in this case is going to be the buy order, we're going to click on the buy side. Make sure that we have the correct strike price in there. If you want to edit, you have the option to do that. However, personally, I would just rather click the different option contracts strike prices on to start, rather than looking to edit the strike price in the order entry menu. We have a call and it's green, so we're buying a call, and then you can set your limit price here. And right, so you can look at, as this is going by, we're in the $45 calls. So right now the ask is at 163. So if we're paying too much for it, we're not going to see any ball here, right? So as we tick down, you see how that ball comes into the window, and that's going to tell you where we're at between the mid and the natural price. So I'm not sure what nat actually means, but it's bid and ask here. So we have the 156 on the low end, and then the 160 on the high end. You can actually drag that back and forth, or you can hit the plus and minus. If you want to set a limit order, you do have the power to bring this down to 140, whatever you want to do. It just is not guaranteed that it's going to execute, right? You see the little arrow right here showing us that showing us that we aren't in the range, so it probably won't get filled, right? So we tick back up finally, and then as the prices move, this ball might move as well, but that's how you're going to execute your order most likely at that time. So when we are going to actually set our order, we're going to hit confirm and send. I'm not going to buy right now because the market's live. I haven't done any analysis on AMD. But yeah, so that is the basic premise behind buying an option on TD Ameritrade. And so when you see that, you are going to, if you want to close your position, you're going to see a little thing that says POS right by the side here. That means you have a position to close out that contract. You're just going to click on the sell side, make sure your number of contracts are matching the number of contracts that you bought, right? And at any time you can open the positions tab on the monitor to see that. So make sure your quantity is matching the number of contracts that you bought, and then you're just going to once again ensure the strike price is correct, ensure the type is correct. Red meaning sell, so we're selling a call, red call, and so we're gonna adjust the price that we want to sell at. And hey, look at that, we would have made money if we bought at 159, sold at 165. Boom. So then we would hit confirm and send. However, we're going to just delete this order. So that's a pretty brief rundown, guys, on buying and selling options in TD Ameritrade. There's many ways to do it. This is my favorite way, but there are also other ways that will work as well. All right, so that was a brief breakdown on how I buy and sell options in TD Ameritrade. You don't by any means have to do that. There are 3 or 4 ways to actually do it in TD Ameritrade. This is my favorite and by far, I think, the most efficient. So let's zoom back out for a second. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys to see how I buy and sell in TD Ameritrade. If you got any value out of this video, please hit the thumbs up button. It really helps us a ton. Hit the subscribe button if this is something that you're interested in learning more about, and I'll see you in the next video.